Hello, and welcome to the Spooky Soul Sisters Podcast,
where we discuss anything and everything that we are into that week. I am your jump scare person, Nadia.
And I'm your scare actor, Vanessa.
And today we are going to be
talking about original Halloween Horror Night mazes.
Yes, so this is another episode in which I will be filming it and then uploading it to my YouTube channel, Lovely Wolf. That is the word lovely and the word wolf with an E at the end. Hi, Lovely Wolf.
Hi.
And let's talk about our experience in creating mazes.
So, as we've talked about before, we've met back in high school in our drama department, and in advanced drama, advanced?
Yeah, advanced.
Advanced and intermediate drama. Mm-hmm. Every year, for Halloween, we do something called Haunted Theater.
Yes.
Which is just the most chaotic unit of the year. And everyone knew it.
Everyone gets stressed out. Mm-hmm. Everyone is a mess.
I'll admit it, I snapped on people.
Oh my god, literally, it will be like a week before the opening of the Haunted Theater, and we won't be done.
No.
We literally scramble together.
Like the last 20 minutes that we have, we're putting things up. And the whole pièce de résistance of Haunted Theater was we put everything up. Everything was held up by fishing wire and paper clips. We did it. We made it.
Did it.
We made it happen.
Yeah, but it was always fun in the sense that, like, we would create everything. Like, we would settle on a theme for what the maze would be, and then each room people would be assigned to, and it would be so fantastic.
And both years, Nadia and I made sure that we'd be near each other in some proximity.
Yeah. The first year that we did it, it was
like the Fairytales.
Yeah. And the second year that we did it, it was Carnival.
Yes.
Which that was fun.
It was a personal accomplishment for that year because so many years before we're talking about how they wanted clowns.
Yeah.
And it was like a hard no, because around that time was like the 2016 clown thing.
The killer clown.
Yeah,
oh my
gosh. It's like a true phobia that people have, and our teacher wasn't trying to give people like severe panic attacks, but we were persistent. And we ended up getting it that year, and it was pretty interesting. I mean, one room had a jack-in-the-box, and like I think it was Sergio or someone was like popping out of it.
Yeah,
cool.
it was crazy, and it was like so much fun.
Yeah, and I remember specifically when we were doing Haunted Theater, I would adapt this voice, and I don't know where it would come from. I couldn't do it now to save my life.
Yeah.
It just happened. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so...
You played an organ one year.
I played an organ our senior year. It was, oh my gosh, it was the best thing ever. I, like, painted my face in, like, this, like, clown face. I had this blue, like...
I looked great.
...wig that I had in, like, pigtails. And it's, like, you're coming down a hall... And it's, like, really dark. The lighting is, like, dark, but, like this, like, dark pink, like, kind of thing. And you see me playing an organ at, like, the end of the hall. I'm playing just, like, Mary Had a Little Lamb. Just, like, scary. And then I would just, like, I could see them faintly in the reflection of the organ. So then, like, right when they would, like, get near me, I would just, like, bang down on it and just, like, turn around. Oh, my God, it was the best thing ever.
It was awesome.
Our first year, Vanessa and I were, like, dolls.
Yes, we were. So... Our, like, finale room that year was Pinocchio, and the whole concept was that Geppetto would take people and make them into human marionettes.
Yeah.
So we were two of the marionettes, and where we were standing, I was by the exit, but there was a curtain in front of us, so Nadia would pop out where people were entering the room.
Yeah.
And our energy...
Oh, yeah.
Unstoppable.
Oh, yeah.
Unstoppable. It was amazing.
It was so... beautiful. Yeah, so we decided we were going to take on horror mazes again because, as fun as it was, there were always limits involved.
Oh, yeah.
So we were like, what would happen if we had no limits whatsoever? So I am very excited to get into this.
Yes.
Vanessa, why don't you take it away?
Sure. My Halloween Horror Night concept is It, the remake, Chapter 1, 2017. Now, in full disclosure, it did have haunted houses for both of its movie out in Hollywood, and they did an independent events for both movies as promotion when they were coming out. I personally didn't get the chance to go to them, although it was local to us. But I just wanted to take this concept and create something from my own mind. If I ended up accidentally, being very adjacent to some of the ideas from those mazes, I genuinely didn't intend to take anything. I just kind of like was going off of my own mind. These are all original to me, but if they're not, all right, I'm not mad at it.
Yeah.
And so getting right into it, I imagined this maze with a partnering scare zone in the park. And with the scare zone, that is an open area in the park where there are scare actors and theming to go along with the specific plot line. And what I envision for this is that in the first movie, like the whole thing is that the kids have to conquer their fears.
Yeah.
I'd like for the scare zone to be the children conquering their fears. So in the movie, we see that one of the children has an acute phobia, or just like an acute germ phobia. And so one of his fears is like this decaying leper. And so we'd be seeing both the child screaming, running around, conquering their fear, and then the leper just like walking around. Beverly, the girl that we see, her fear is blood. She has a phobia of blood. And so there's a scene in the movie where the bathroom that she's in like fills up with blood and it's like all over the place. I would envision her with almost like Carrie, just blood everywhere and walking around looking for Pennywise, looking for her friends, things like that. Next is Billy, the older brother of George. His fear is that his brother's death was his fault. And we see the brother in the movie where Pennywise is manipulating his form to get a rise out of Billy. And in his form, he's obviously like waterlogged and he's missing an arm and very grotesque looking. I imagine those two in the scare zone. And Richie's fear is clowns, also known as Pennywise. He would not be as present as many as the other ones, but he'll be popping around, which I think will heighten the fear because you expect him to be in the maze and not really around. So I think that'd be cool. And that's kind of his thing in the movie too, is coming out of the shadows and lurking and not always quite in your face, but he's around.
Yeah.
And it gives that just sinister, almost supernatural like presence, almost like Freddy Krueger. I take them very like similar in the same, because Freddy Krueger is like around you, but he's not there, because he's present within your mind and your dreams, but he's not always out like right in front of you.
Yeah.
And I take that as a very creepy, lurky thing, and I think that's a really cool concept. And the kids fighting their fears throughout the movie leads up to the final act, which is the kids going to the house and finding the well and going to Pennywise and defeating him. So this is all the lead up to going to the house, and it's all very much one cohesive experience in the end. What characters will we see in the scare zone? There's an extra T in there, and it bugs me, but
It'd be like that.
Into the scare zone. The characters we will see in the scare zone will, of course, be the kids from Derry: Bill, Ben, Beverly, Richie, Mike, Eddie, and Stanley. We will see their fears in the scare zone, like I had said, and the sets will include the curfew signs to missing flyers plastered around, an oddly unfrantic and eerily quiet town, because it's known that throughout the city of Derry, if you're living in Derry, you're under Pennywise's manipulation. So although these kids are openly experiencing these terrifying events, Pennywise has a hold over everybody else to be like eerily calm and mundane, which can also be a thing that is in the scare zone. Just like normal townspeople, like almost zombily walking by while the kids are frantic and fighting their fears. Introducing the facade, which is the Pennywise house, and I'm completely aware that this was the facade for the first maze that they had in Hollywood in 2017. I don't care. This is my maze.
Take it or leave it.
House. Anyways, also it exists. I could just borrow it. Outside of the house will be Pennywise, but a mannequin Pennywise with the pyramid balloons and a loud effect, probably Pennywise's laugh, and I imagine with the strobe light. In the exterior, audio will be creepy circus music and Pennywise laughing with quotes. And for the first jump scare, I imagine Richie's fear of clowns, which will be the first jump scare. I love this scene specifically where he's in the house with the casket and all the clowns around him. I took this picture. This is an example from the I Love Scary Movies exhibit that was in Hollywood for, I think, the last year. I didn't take this picture personally, but I've been there and it's a really fun event. I love how they recreated it, and it goes to show that it's really not that difficult to recreate, and also universal. I know you got clown costumes. Killer Clown was the maze last year. I know you got it, my guy.
Yeah.
So I think that'd be really cool. It could be a simple jump scare. If you can see that the casket door is opened and it says found, either I imagine Richie jumping out of the casket or he's behind the casket door and slamming it down and trying to get out of there because he like freaks out when he's in here. Wow, spelling is not it. Balloon Jumo scare.
Jumbo?
Wumbo. So the balloon jump scare. So this jump scare, you'll be walking down a hallway that is very dark and eerie, where you see a single floating balloon. This is an This is an effect that Universal specifically has mastered. They've mastered the false imagery. And we've often seen in Halloween Horror Nights where there is a mesh that they're able to project an image in front of, almost like a two-way mirror. And then behind it is a scare actor, and when strobes go off, you see the scare actor and the illusion before is like gone. So I imagine a dark hallway where it's super cold or you hear like a linger of Pennywise's like a very evil laugh, and you're walking towards this single red balloon floating by itself in the middle of a hallway, and then right when you're approaching it, the switch, and that's when everything lights up, and that's where Pennywise is, and that's where he reaches out for you.
Ooh, that's good.
Yeah. I'm feeling it myself. I wrote it and I scared myself with that one. I'm also taking inspiration again because the I Love Scary Movies exhibit, you guys, if everything calms down soon and they decide to resume doing it in Hollywood, you should definitely go to it because some of the stuff that they have there is so cool and awesome. One of the things that I absolutely adored, and if I could put it in a maze, I would, is taking this that you see on the screen. This is a tunnel that they created, and it's one of those effects from a fun houses where it's a barrel that's consistently rotating and you have to walk through it. But you see the painting, you see that it's neon or blacklight reactant paint. This created the most intense optical illusion I've ever felt in my life.
Oh, wow.
And as soon as I walked on the platform, everything tilted.
Whoa.
Everything tilted sideways, and I had to hold on to the railing to walk through it. I couldn't go through it. Becca had to help me halfway through.
That's insane.
Yeah, it is so good. I feel like in a perfect world, this would flow beautifully in a Horror Nights maze, but to be real, it's gonna cause like a traffic jam.
Yeah.
People are gonna have a hard time going through. Either they adjust the illusion so that it's not as intense, but this had my vision rotating. It was insane.
Yeah.
And so if there's some type of way, the geniuses that work at Universal and work with Halloween Horror Nights, the legends that work with them, I feel like if anyone can pull it off, it's them. And to put it inside of a maze would be awesome. But yeah, it creates an extremely dizzying effect. Your steadiness shifts and it's just swaying back and forth and rotating. I think this will cause such a disorienting effect. And even if you have a jump scare at the end, although it may seem like expected and predictable, it's going to catch them off guard right away because they're just so like disoriented as soon as they step off the platform. Universal, this is free money. You're welcome.
But give her some of it.
Give me some of it. And so for the final scare, which was one of the last ones that I wanted to communicate, as you exit, you're walking towards Pennywise and the clown gate, and like one of the piles of trash that you're walking past, you're done, you've defeated Pennywise in the grand finale, you're exiting, and what do you see?
Yeah!
How am I going to have this maze and not have dancing Pennywise as the final scare? I
just can't do it.
Best.
Yeah.
It'd be the best. I think it'd be so fun, and if not the final scare, it needs to be somewhere. I'm not budging.
You need to get like an actual dancer to get that isolation going.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh my
I think
God.
like part of the camera angle that it's stuck, it has. This is the first TikTok face focus film.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
Yeah. And so Yeah, that's my It Chapter 1 from 2017 Horror Nights maze concept.
I love that.
Thank you.
Round of applause. All right, so for my maze, like, okay, we did Twisted Fairytales in our high school, but I will say it was very underwhelming for me because when I say Twisted Fairytales, I want to go very much hardcore and into it. And the reason why it was hard for us to do that was because, one, money, and two, our teacher was always very persistent on the fact that, like, to do it, like, really well, you need, like, actual costumes and, like, money. And so since that this is limitless and, like, I don't even know if some of the things I want exist, but I'm just going to pretend that they exist.
With enough money, it can.
Yeah, exactly. With enough money and determination. So, may I present?
Oh, she got music. It's a production.
I've been watching Once Upon a Time. Rewatching Once Upon a Time lately, so I had to use the opening title sequence. So, yeah. Twisted Fairytales to start, and like the order that I put it in, I don't know if this is like the order that I would actually want, but like that's just where we ended up. Sure. So to start, we have
whoa, that's so smart.
Yeah.
Ew.
So to start, I have Toy Story, and in my head it's like the prank that they pull on Sid in the first movie, but like amped up. So this is kind of how I envision it. I want it to be like a dollhouse type looking thing, but just distorted and like awful. I want like the classic like little kid room things. We can even make it Andy's room, but like just like I don't even know, totally messed up.
Yeah.
Lights casting like reddish, greenish hues everywhere. I do want a giant teddy bear with like that, if you can see it, with that happening, because that just like sounds great. And if you were not afraid, at least initially, if you were not afraid of that baby robot thing or that monkey, I am terrified of you.
I'm afraid of you.
Yeah, like you scare me so much. So I want specifically these two characters to be some of the main focuses of this, but I also want like the original characters to also just be completely jacked up and just like completely like distorted, awful, like scary, like take your innocence and mess it up, like
May
type
I
of deal.
add something?
Yeah.
What if this is Sid's revenge for Andy getting his toys back? So when Andy's on vacation with his family, Sid comes and trashes everything.
That would be cool. That would be cool. And like the storyline that I envisioned for this is like demented looking toys and people. I wrote people. I mean kids. But I don't want actual children to be like doing that. So adults,
legal adult, professional scare actors portraying children.
Yeah. So like in my head, it's like the toys just completely like I don't know got rewired, and so it's like they're in charge now, and the people become the toys.
Wow.
So I didn't get any pictures because I just didn't really want to look at that myself. But like if you can just picture like I don't know, like there could be like a table. And like it's like a kid's like desk table.
An idea.
Yeah, it's like a kid's desk table or something. And then there's like one of the toys, either this like baby one or like someone else that's like operating on a human trying to put like batteries like in them or something. Yeah, and there could be like humans like with like I don't know special effects. Like it looks like there's batteries like in their backs. Oh, okay.
What if they do that to Andy?
If they. Okay, yeah, that's where I'm at
Makes
right now.
sense of all of that.
Yeah,
Please.
exactly. Next. The Little Mermaid.
Yes.
And now I have had a room envisioned in this quite literally since middle school. Wow. Ever since one day on Tumblr I saw this picture. This picture specifically of Ariel cutting off the legs in this picture, it's Cinderella for herself, because I just think that is just so unbelievably twisted, and like I really like fairy tales in a dark light. I don't know if you can tell, but like I'm just like obsessed with stuff like this. So the basis for this room that I see is like, it would have to be like really, I don't even know how much money you would need to accomplish this. But so I want it to be like a swamp. I don't really see mermaids in swamps, but like the visual of a swamp, but like it could be like a lake, a lagoon or something like that. And I want it to look like this. I want the main color to be a dark sea green in there. And I want like trees and like vines coming down so they can like brush up against you and stuff. And I want there to be a bridge going across the water. But it's fairly close to the water because what I want the scares to be are like mermaids coming up out of the water trying to grab your legs.
So dope.
Yeah, and just like around, I want Disney princesses specifically just completely dismembered and like because you know they're getting their legs cut off and everything because Ariel wants the legs so she can be like a human, and I want that to be like the main storyline. It's just like the mermaids are trying to get legs because Ariel thinks that like when she finds the right pair of legs it'll work.
I'm so happy to be your best friend today. This is a very proud moment for me. I'm having a lot of fun with this.
Yeah, so that's... And I want fog.
Nice.
Lots of fog.
What this reminds me of is Universal had a maze, I think 2 or 3 years ago, where it was taking place in a bayou in a steamboat, and the entire platform or foundation of this maze was tilted.
Ooh!
It was at an angle. The entire house was at an angle.
And I definitely want the bridge that they cross to be very unstable. Like, to the point where you're wondering, do I need to sue this company? Right. Yeah. So, that's that on that.
Nice.
Next is Jack Frost. I couldn't really find much winter, like, scary music that would work well with this. So, Jack Frost, like, I don't know, isn't a typical fairy tale, but, like, I need it to be absolutely clear that I'm not talking about this cute Jack Frost. No, ma'am. We are not talking about this one.
Are we talking about the one I'm thinking about?
I don't know. But so what I want for this room is I want it to be white. Like extremely bright in there. Like we can have like some lighting effects that'll make it seem like it's like, I don't even know, like white dark. Does that make sense? Like a freezer. I want it to be like a freezer in there, kind of. And I want...
Sterile.
Yeah, and I want curtains, like, just, like, all about the place. Not, like, because there's windows. Like, just curtains flowing around, like, everywhere. Like, I don't even know. And I want it to be really cold in there. Like, very cold. Like
now, I went to Horror Nights last year, and there is, the Universal Monsters house was Frankenstein versus Wolfman.
Oh.
And there was, like, a frozen room. And it was so fucking cold. It
my
was
gosh.
so cold, and there was ice and like ice effects all over the place.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was walking through an igloo. So that's totally accomplishable.
Lit.
That is very real.
Yeah, no, I want everyone to just be like chilled when they're like very cold when they're walking through.
And real quick, when you said Jack Frost, I was thinking of this gem from the 90s.
Oh,
The most terrifying thing. This dad walks out in the middle of a winter storm and then comes back Jack Frost in the most terrifying way.
Is really
there is a
creepy.
man in that suit.
That is
Yeah, man.
I remember seeing pictures I've never seen that Jack Frost though, and I don't intend to. Yeah, keep in mind the reason why Vanessa keeps on telling me this stuff is because I've never been to Horror Nights because I my limit is not Scary Farm. Horror Nights to me would send me into like I don't even know what, because at Scary Farm it's just like random mazes. At Horror Nights it's movies that are supposed to be fiction coming to life, and that I know will just do some stuff to me.
Everyone has their own boundaries.
Yeah. So also in this room, I want mirrors because I feel like
the funhouse effect is good.
You cannot have a scary maze without mirrors.
Yeah.
I think. I want I do want two-way mirrors included, because what I want running around this place are like frost demons or like ice demons or something like that. They don't necessarily need to look like this. I just genuinely could not find one that I wanted that fit the image in my head on Google at all. So I want people running around like that, and the reason why two-way, so that they can see where people are at and then pop out when needed. And whatever effect that Vanessa was talking about earlier, where like the lights kind of like dim and then you see them, I want that included. Like I would like that. And
one of those, please.
Yeah. So that's that for this room. And next, Alice in Wonderland. Oh, there you go. That's from Melanie Martinez's song Carousel. Go check it out. It's a good song. Okay. So Alice in Wonderland, I feel like you can't have Twisted Fairytales and not include Alice in Wonderland.
Of course not.
Yeah. So for this area in the maze specifically, I just want like completely like mind-boggling, like kind of when you started talking about that, I was like, I'm glad we're on this, because I want my rooms to be like optical illusion to the max.
I love it.
I got these pictures off of Google just because it kind of was like related to what I want, but I do not want this color scheme, because if we're doing Alice in Wonderland, I want complete psychedelic vibes everywhere. Like, I want color. I want vibrancy.
I'm so proud. I'm so proud of this exact moment.
Yeah.
I'm full. My heart is full.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons why I love Twisted Fairytales so much is because of Alice in Wonderland and just how like demented the history of it can get and like everything. And I just love it so much. So I want the Alice in Wonderland characters, obviously freaky, walking around all over the place. I think the theme and like premise and like reasoning behind this room is because I want it to be like you're in Wonderland and they do not want you to leave. They want you to keep partying with them, or like having the tea party.
I love it.
Or whatever. Yeah, so I want Alice, the Mad Hatter, just like spooky, all that good stuff. I would like the Queen of Hearts walking around carrying heads, and I want people that are headless walking around. And I envision, oh my god, I didn't use the picture because it was just like some random person, and I just felt like weird using someone else's picture. But like, it was the Queen of Hearts, and there was like a gaping hole where her heart should be, and there was like nothing there. So I would want the Queen of Hearts to walk around like with that, and like, so I want her to be holding heads and also collecting hearts, because
I love it.
Yeah, so. And I want like strobe lights happening. I really want the lighting to go like hard in this room, and also fog.
Nice. Now I'm just going to chime in. Horror Nights typically plays the hardest EDM during Horror Nights, and I feel like a Melanie Martinez EDM mix for this room.
I want that bumping through this room. I want you to feel it in your soul. I want the bass booming and like everything. This one I know for sure I would want to be the final room. Yeah. And the biggest one and the most extravagant. Yeah.
Yeah. Nice.
That's my maze.
Oh man. That was freaking fantastic. I wish we had all the money in the world. Nadia, get famous so we could do this for fun.
I have wanted this for so long. Y'all have no idea.
Wow.
So
as you can see, we're kind of missing Halloween this year.
Yeah, I really love going to Not Scary Farm. I'm really sad. I love going to Not Scary Farm, and I love having the battle with my other friend Chris of him trying to get me to go to Horror Nights.
Just my last thing for the Alice room. I want to be like a feral Cheshire cat.
Yeah.
Total like feral tomcat.
Yeah. I was going to include a few more fairy tales like in it, but I put so much effort into like the slides I already had. I was like,
great.
Yeah, I was like,
I think they're awesome concepts.
Thank you.
Oh man, I love this. I feel like I could make one of these like a week, because
honestly,
it's just such endless topics, and like you could get so original. I mean, like one of the ones I went to last year, it was called Holidays in Hell, and it was just like demented versions of each holiday.
Oh my god, that's beautiful.
So it's just limitless, really, because if they can make a demonic turkey for a Thanksgiving room, like it's limitless.
Yeah. Yeah, no, nothing's impossible with enough of twisted imagination and money.
We have half of that.
Yeah. But yeah, those are our mazes.
Yeah,
hope
we
y'all
hope you
like
enjoyed it, and come back next week for your next dope of spooky.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.